Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Captain Shaq here. Space Sims are back in a fantastic way. Now, I grew up playing hours and hours of the X series, Freelancer, Elite, and it's great to see what was basically a dead genre come back with a vengeance. With such a time gap, it's not shocking to see large numbers of new and much younger faces looking at Space Sims and wondering, what's the deal? What's so awesome about Elite Dangerous, Star Citizen, and No Man's Sky? And where do these games come from? Well, let's get into it. Space Sims aren't technically real-world simulations like, say, a proper flight sim is. In your traditional Space Sim title, the focus is more on building and creating an open universe for players to explore and interact with in his or her own way, blazing a path that's fully in the control of the player. Be it a pirate, trader, explorer, conqueror, it's not about simulating a NASA mission to fix drifting satellites so much as building a universe that holds to its own science fiction tropes. Think more in line with Star Wars style and less with, say, The Martian. The three big names currently either in development or released and currently still in post-production are Star Citizen, No Man's Sky, and Elite Dangerous. Each of these fits nicely into the genre of the classic Space Sim, though Star Citizen is the main reason people are now really talking about Space Sims in a much larger scale, mainly because of the insane amount of money they raised for the title through crowdfunding. Even though Elite Dangerous was in development prior, it was Chris Roberts' Star Citizen that grabbed national and global headlines and holds the place as the largest crowdfunded project in history. Both take place in space with an open multiplayer universe, so what's the difference? Well, Chris Roberts didn't just come out of nowhere. He made his share of well-known space games. He was part of the team that made the Ultima series. He created one of the most well-known PC space franchises, Wing Commander, and he was the director of a game incredibly close to my heart, Freelancer, a title that probably comes closest to what Star Citizen is hoping to be and pushing it forward. Star Citizen is hands down the most ambitious space sim to date, with developers literally all over the globe developing it almost 24 hours a day. The goal? Make the ultimate and most detailed and immersive science fiction universe for users to play in that's persistent. And I'm talking MMO persistence here. Elite Dangerous is also doing this, but from a different angle. You see, Elite Dangerous has already come out, and it can be found on Steam right now. The first version was released with the player having a massive universe to go out and explore. Gameplay on release was solely from the cockpit of a smallish fighter craft, and you are solo aboard that craft, no multiplayer crewing. Though it is multiplayer as far as the universe is concerned, you can have your buddy fly as your wingman. Where Star Citizen scope includes player avatars, completely rendered interior ships, some with multiple decks, and multiplayer crewing, meaning your friends can man stations around the ship like shields or the turrets. Elite Dangerous has stated this is a future goal, and has already added the ability to, say, land on planet bodies, mainly moons, and drive around in buggies, which is actually pretty cool, but no avatars yet. Long-term goals for Elite Dangerous are to have the ability to walk around your ship with your friends aboard. But as of making this video, that's not the case. Coming soon, we all hope. Elite Dangerous was criticized on release for lack of player interaction with the universe. Sure, you can make money and buy better ships, but the actual impact of players on the universe feels lacking. Games like EVE Online have massive communities vying for power and capital ships that can be commanded, whereas Elite Dangerous feels a bit more static. Keep in mind, Elite Dangerous is out and playable right now, while Star Citizen, as of this video, is in alpha and is set to release Squadron 42, a single-player campaign for Star Citizen at the end of 2016, early 2017, with the persistent universe, aka the MMO aspects, coming out sometime later. So comparing these two is kind of off. They're not exactly the same development stage. So where does No Man's Sky fit into all this? Well, it's the oddball of the group, but very much worth talking about. No Man's Sky is a single-player stylized exploration game. Not a traditional space sim title as the fanbase has come to know them, its game mechanics have been kept fairly vague, and its claim to fame is procedural generation. Basically, math generates just about everything in the universe, much like Elite Dangerous, but on a much more detailed micro scale. You can land and explore full-sized planets on foot, each with its own biome, animal life, and threats, be them environmental or creature. NPCs populate the universe and can be interacted with, but at an unknown level, outside of trading and basic communications. Factions supposedly exists, but what you'll be able to do with them is still uncertain. The developers have stated the game is so large, it will almost be impossible to expect to find another player. Finding a friend even harder. So when you've got trillions of fully rendered sized planets in your universe, you bet it's gonna be hard. Also, there's no minimap. And with zero mention of how multiplayer servers are set up, one has to even doubt if they took the time to build multiplayer into the game. It's no small feat to add multiplayer into a game. And to add it into a game where it's supposed to be rarely, if ever, used, seems questionable. When was the last time you played a title that they added multiplayer in for funsies and really didn't tell anyone about it? The most impressive aspect of No Man's Sky, though, is the seamless transition from space to planet and from planet to space. A feature all three big space sims are working on, but as of right now, No Man's Sky is the only one that seems to truly have something worth exploring on those planets. So if you're watching this video, you're probably asking yourself one question. Which do I buy, Shaq? My answer, it depends. If you want a playable multiplayer experience right now, Elite Dangerous is really your only choice, unless you want to go run off and buy Freelancer from 1990s. Star Citizen has a multiplayer alpha running right now, but it's strife with bugs and it lacks content. This, of course, is going to change. So if you're more interested in the promise of Star Citizen and want to help fund it and get hands-on with it throughout the development, you can grab a package for that and jump into the limited alpha that's available now. If you're more interested in a single-player experience that's focused on exploring and discovering, or hell, you just love space games, go get No Man's Sky and jump in on June 21st. My personal plan? I own Elite Dangerous and I continue to jump in and test out new updates and expansions. I'm already well into Star Citizen's alpha, and I've watched it come a long way over the last year, and I can't wait to start scanning Animal Life in No Man's Sky. I'm a space sim fan. I play space sims. And here's hoping for more down the line. I'll see you guys in the verse. Thanks for watching.